my dear students. How are you? I hope all are you good. Welcome back to another class. Today, let me start English chapter number 11, The Pedestrian. Do you think we all are living in isolation these days due to technology? है ना? आपको लगता है कि इस टेक्नोलॉजी की वजह से हम सब लोग जो है आइसोलेशन में आ गए, आइसोलेट हो गए, यानी कि एक कॉर्नर में बंद हो गए. So read the story to enter out into the silence that was the city at 8 o'clock of a misty evening in November. To put your feet upon that buckling concrete walk, to step over grassy scenes and make your way, hands in pocket. Through the silences that was there, Mr. Leonard Mead most dearly loved to do. He would stand upon the corner of an intersection and peer down long moonlit avenues of farmland in four directions, deciding which way to go. But it really made no difference. He was alone in this world of at 2053, or as good as alone, and with a final decision made, a path selected, he would stride out. Sending patterns of posterior before him like the smoke of a cigar, sometimes he would walk for hours and miles and return only at midnight to his house. And on his way, he would see the cottages and homes with their dark windows, and it was not unequal to walking through a graveyard where only the faintest glimmers of firefly light appeared in flickers behind the windows. Sudden grey phantom seemed to manifest upon inner room was where a curtain was still undrawn against the night. Oh, there were whisperings and murmurs where window in a tomb-like building was still open. Mr. Leonard Mead would pause, perk his head, listen, look, and march on. His feet making no noise on the lumpy walk, for long ago he had wisely changed to sneakers when strolling at night, because the dogs in intermittent squares would parallel his journey with barkings if he wore hard heels. And lights might click on and faces appear and an entire street be started by the passing of a lone figure himself in the early November even. On this particular evening, he began his journey in a westerly direction towards the hidden sea. There was a good crystal force in the air. It cut the nose and made the lung blaze like a Christmas tree inside. You could feel the cold light going on and off, all the branches filled with invisible snow. He listened to the faint push of his soft shoes through autumn leaves with satisfaction and whistled a cold, quiet whistle between his teeth, occasionally picking up a leaf as he passed, examining its skeletal pattern in the infrequent lamplights as he went on smelling its rusty smell. Hello in there, he whispered to every house on every side as he moved. What's up tonight on Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 9? Where are the cowboys rushing, and do I see the United States cavalry over the next hill to the rescue? The street was silent and long and empty, with only shadow moving like the shadow of a hawk in mid-country. If he closed his eyes and stood very still, frozen, he could imagine himself upon the center of a plain, a wintry, windless Arizona desert with no house in 1,000 miles, and only dry river beds the streets for company. What is it now? He asked the houses, noticing his wristwatch. 8:30 p.m. time for a dozen assorted murders, a quiz, a review, a comedian falling off the stage. Was that a murmur of laughter from within a moon-bright house? He hesitated but went on. When nothing more happened, he stumbled over a particularly uneven section of pavement. The cement was vanishing under flowers and grass. In 10 years of walking by night or day for thousands of miles, he had never met another person walking, not one in all that time. He came to a clover leaf intersection. We stood silent. Where two main highways crossed the town. During the day, it was a thunderous surge, of course. The gas stations opened a great insect rustling and a ceaseless choking for position as the scrap beetles. A faint incense puttering from their exhaust skin homeward to the far directions. But now these highways too were like streams in a dry season, all stone and bed in moon radiance. He turned back on a side street, circling around towards his home. He was within a block of his destination when the lone car turned a corner quite suddenly and flashed a fire spike cone of light upon him. He stood entranced, not like a night note stunned by the illumination, and then turned towards it. A metallic voice called to him, "Stand still, stay where you are, don't move." He halted. "Put up your hands," but he said, "Your hands up or we will shoot." The police, of course, but what a rare, incredible thing in a city of 3 million. There was only one police car left. Wasn't the correct? It was since a year ago, 2052. तो ये कब का लिखा है इसने? इसमें किस बार कब की बात हो रही है? आने वाले साल, मतलब in 2052 के बारे में बात हो रही है. The election year, the force had been cut down from the 3 cars to 1. Crime was ebbing. There was no need now for the police, save for this one lone car wandering the empty streets. "Your name," said the police car in a metallic whisper. He couldn't see the man in it for the bright light in his eyes. "Leonard Mead," he said. "Speak up, Leonard Mead. Business or profession?" "I guess you had called me a writer." "No profession," said the police car, as if talking to itself. The light held him fixed, like a museum specimen, little short chest. "You might say that," said Mr. Mead. "He had written in years, magazines and books. He didn't sell anymore. Everything went on the tomb-like houses at night." Now he thought, continuing his fancy, tombs lit by television light, where the people sit like the dead, the grey or multicolored lights touching their faces, but never really touching them. "No profession," said the phonograph voice, hissing. "What are you doing out?" "Walking," said Leonard Mead. "Walking, just walking," he said simply. But his face felt cold. "Walking, just walking, walking." "Yes, sir." "Walking where, for what?" "Walking for air, walking to see your address. 11 South St. James Street, and there is air in your house. You have an air conditioner, Mr. Mead?" "Yes." "And you have a viewing screen in your house to see with?" "No." No, there was a crackling quiet that in itself was an accusation. Psychiatric Center for Research on Regressive Tendencies, he got in. So the door shut with a soft thud. The police car rolled through the night avenues, flashing its dim lights ahead. They passed one house on one street. A moment later, one house in an entire city of houses that were dark. But this one particular house had all of its electric lights brightly lit every window. A loud yellow illumination, square and warm in the cool darkness. "That's my house," said Leonard Mead. No one answered him. The car moved down the empty riverbed streets and off away, leaving the empty streets with the empty pavements and no sound and no motion, all the rest of the chill November night. So everyone, the chapter is in here. I hope you all are very well understand full chapter. We will meet you the next class. Thank you everyone.